is up on a Thursday night? That's right. It's officially the start of my weekend. Thank hell that I've made it through the work week. And I got my undead brother here, Mortimer Deadfellow, in effect. So many awesome things going on right now, but that we'll talk about because they got an awesome convention this weekend that Brother Mortimer will be at. So if you are in a certain Texas area, you might be able to meet him in person. That's right. And I have Villain Arts in Chicago coming up next weekend. Man, we got so much going on. So if you want to catch sightings of us, those are two excellent places to find us. But we are on our part 2 of best TV horror series, according to us, because again, there's so many of them, but we want to open your eyes to some that maybe you haven't even given a chance for. But before we get into all this business, we're going to take a quick commercial break over to our brother at Poison Valley Scareware. Check it out. That's right. If you are ready for the latest and greatest in horror apparel, custom horror apparel, go over there at poisonvalleyscareware.com and check out our brother Dave. He is a great artist and can do all kinds of cool ass shit. All right. We are ready to delve back into, hey, what's up, Lizzie? What's up, Rebecca? This is the time to share this out. Anywhere and everywhere there is a horror lover. That's right. We're talking about the best TV series, horror TV series of all time. Peter Anthony in the house. What is going on, brother? Good to see you. Glad you were able to tune in. Share it out, folks, because chances are there's a couple of series that we haven't mentioned that you love, and maybe you want to tell us what your favorites are. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on over to Mortimer here and to kick us off with his next set of excellent horror TV series.
I figured for our second part, I needed to touch on a series that isn't, as you would say, like a sitcom or anything like that, but it was a long-running series, all the way from 1987 to 2010.
Wow. That is longevity in this business.
And just to be resurrected again in 2020.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nice. I am talking about none other than Unsolved Mysteries.
Dun, dun, dun.
Robert Stack.
Absolutely.
And an icon in film already, but became your narrator through, in most cases, real stories. They weren't made up. They didn't create skits. It was ghost stories, abductions, murders, you name it. But everything of horror you could think of too is in that series, but it was real events. And it's like, and a lot of people for a big generation didn't watch horror movies, poor things, or they were shielded from certain things they weren't allowed to watch. And this was about the closest thing
that they could get
to real life.
Right, because mom was watching it. Maybe dad was watching it.
Grandpa, even grandparents, it's like,
they loved that shit.
Well, because you had Robert Stack. You had a guy that was a leading man through the era for them, and
exactly.
We even got him as Airplane being, an Airplane being hilarious, but it's like for that, it's the same thing as it's like what Oh, let me see. And like America's Most Wanted would be able to do and help people and, solve mysteries,
Absolutely.
missing persons cases and stuff got solved. Serial
And
killers
it
got
was kind
caught.
of like a show that was designed to help, you
Yeah,
know. And
exactly.
in
Yeah.
some cases, it actually did
Yeah.
help. So you just never knew um, what you were seeing sometimes, maybe even back then, maybe they didn't think that it was real, but they
Right.
did a fine job of showing that,
Yeah.
this,
Trying to recreate it as the witness or somebody had
right.
experienced it. And
And
it's
then
like,
they always had the FBI like tip line thing at the
yep.
end that you could call.
Yep.
And I think they were successful.
Yeah. On quite a couple of them. Yeah. The only show that it could compete with them was America's Most Wanted.
Hmm.
That was the only one that could compete with Unsolved Mysteries for actually
Oh, yeah,
cracking cases and
absolutely.
serial killers and stuff like that. But it was interesting too, because it was a big thing for a lot of shows to get their or actors to get their starts in the reenactments,
Yep,
including, Texas's
exactly.
own Matthew McConaughey. Hey. Yeah. Yep.
Kudos to the McConaughey. But
Yep.
as a matter of fact, we did cover Ash versus the Evil Dead
Yes.
TV
Yeah.
series. And I believe we did mention Bates Motel. I just don't think we went into great depth on it. But it is definitely, that was a great and disturbing series.
Well, you got Norman Bates's lore and backstory to play with, so you got a
Exactly.
you got a bumpy ride because Mama was pretty messed up to that boy, and he wouldn't hurt a fly.
Exactly right. Yep. And as a matter of fact, we mentioned Dexter last time as
Yep,
well
yep.
in great length. So, absolutely, man. Great first choice.
Thank you.
It's one of those things, it was one of the first true crime shows, I
Yep,
think, that really
yep,
drew people into some of these cases that you otherwise wouldn't have known about.
yeah, exactly, yeah, including paranormal ones and things like that. And I loved that they were willing to do that, and cryptids, and you could get anything on that show.
Mm-hmm.
But 100%, yeah.
So I thought long and hard about this one because last time I covered Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the
Hmm.
series, which we all know is like one of the epitome of,
Oh yeah,
fucking horror
it's
TV series.
started an entire genre within itself.
Oh, unholy hell, yes. So I thought long and hard about this. This show really transcended, and we're talking about a horror show that transcended so long. You never would have thought that this show would have kept going. At least not to me. But then
Mhm.
again, they were kind of hitting a different dynamic. So I have to give credence, not only because it's vampires, because obviously I
Mhm.
love vampires, but in this case, I gotta give it up because they were highly successful. People still watch it to this day. The Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, no, I agree. That it had tapped into it. It was, yeah, it was more of an evolution of what Buffy had laid down
It
on
was
that
hipper,
series.
it was newer, um, and obviously it kind of bordered on the hot factor, I guess, of the
Right.
the actors actresses in it, but they were good though.
Well, yeah,
Um,
that's where you walk the twilight line without sparkling.
yes, there was
That's
no
how you do
sparkle
it.
sparkle within that one at all. So
But Anne Rice made the rule vampires got to look good when they turn. So she's a little bit to blame for that one. Brad Pitt,
you know
Antonio
what though?
Banderas.
Is she really to blame for that? Because you got to remember she wasn't the one that created the films. She created
True,
the books,
true. Which I mean,
but
the movies can't stand to her writing and what she was able to do with the characters. Not to
right.
bypass there, but I she did still say that they were attractive in the books.
Yeah. I mean,
So
she did paint the picture.
she wasn't going for, you know, you know, not a certain black and white Nosferatu we've been getting lately.
I mean, I don't have anything, against that because,
I just don't want too much on undead dong in my movies.
oh, I
I
got
try
you.
to keep mine covered from time to time, but if it happens, it happens. I get it. Monster to monster, I understand.
I'm confused. What?
Stay in the land of confusion. It's better.
Was that what ended up showing up
No. I know the
in
imagery for
Nosferatu, the
me.
remake?
No. The remake got me. That's the whole thing. Is it's they went for the he's Count Orlok. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Okay, let's not put clothes on him a bunch of times. And it's like, yeah.
Oh, so they were kind of going off of hey, let's make this a sexier version. Is
I
that
guess.
what we're saying?
I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to ask Ophelia for me if necrosis is the turn on for her, but I'm kind of stuck with it. So it's like,
I
what can a dead
mean,
guy do?
Count Orlok was not supposed to look
Pretty.
good. He was not meant to incite any fire down below.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, I get that. And going off of so many great films past, anything from the Hammer horror vampire films to
Yeah.
a lot of the other ones as well. They weren't romantic. They weren't very, they were more creature like,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
what we expect, what we want in a vampire. We want them to be fierce, the fierce, dark creatures that they are.
A threat, an actual threat. And now, I mean, that's a thing too. But with this show, I mean, you're right, is how the way it worked is it kind of did an evolution on what on Buffy had started. And it's like, oh, we got new technology. We're going to get some actors too that can back up what we're writing, and make the series like you said, be as popular as it was, and people still watching it again. That's draw factor. They're doing something right.
Well, exactly. So with the Vampire Diaries, they were able to introduce so many different separate vampire groups and lore. They were able to explore the lore and then give it this is what teens are going to be drawn to. They got
Right.
the
Exactly.
romance factor.
Right. Yeah.
So that was able to come in there too. So that's why I have to say I got to give it up. I have to give it up and recognize them as one of the horror TV series that really stood the test of time.
Right. No, I agree.
By the way, I just want to say, everybody out there in the comment section, fucking A right. Thank you for joining us tonight. Love y'all. Kyler, Cody's here finally. Hell's Gate is with us. Just a whole host of folks. Luna Projects, all you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And don't be afraid to join in the conversation. God damn it. Let us know what some of your favorites are as well.
Exactly.
All right, let's hit them again.
Okay. I'm gonna go with something that I'm sure for some people of the generation it probably was before, but might have slipped past their radar. I'm gonna stay in the area of the 90s for the moment. And I'm gonna go with a show that only got one season. It got 19 episodes, which you can find, they're all on YouTube. Is a show called Erie, Indiana.
Yeah, this is one that even I have to go back and try to relive because I remember the name. I just can't place an episode. So give us a little history.
Okay, and our lovely Sydney A would love this because it is a boy that moves from New Jersey
to
Erie, Indiana. And you would think, moving would be that kid that's trying, everybody's talking different, all the customs are, that you're not got to get used to it. Well, this town has a problem where like the supernatural and cryptids and aliens and you name it is an everyday occurrence. And this new boy seems to be the only person aware that it's happening at first.
Yes.
And he basically goes on an adventure with his friends and stuff to be the detective and seek them out. And if he looks familiar to some of our demons, is because he also is Max from Hocus Pocus. He lit the black flame candle. So I had to throw it in there because Black Flame, of course. And but it only got 19 episodes, but they're all available to watch. But it's a great show that was way ahead of its time. I mean, you can see Bigfoot, you can see monsters, you can see people turning into werewolves. It's like the kid and his friends are the only one that's aware that this stuff is going on. So it's Erie, Indiana, and it's great. And my part that I always enjoyed is like the cover that you showed. They're always the kids from time to time are always reading Erie magazines, which for our generation that takes you back to the EC comics with exactly Erie comics and Uncle Creepy and everything like that would give you the horror comic with the monsters and the mummies and all that cool shit. So I had to mention this show because I think this show's set up for a younger kid taking on spooky stuff. I think it set up shows like Gravity Falls and different shows like that. Yeah, like the kind of shows where you got the kids are trying to figure out this bizarre world or things that are going on in it. So I definitely had to mention this one.
Absolutely. I definitely am going to, because, let me tell everybody out there in the Black Flame universe, number one, YouTube is like a one-stop shop to find a lot of these obscure shows.
Yes. Yeah.
So I bet you if I dig deep enough, I'll find an episode or two of this. So I can kind of get down with it. And that was one of the coolest parts about the 90s that I think a lot of y'all don't necessarily remember, is that a lot of the child stars, a lot of the teen stars that were in, not only just in a film, but they were also getting plugged into some of the cool shows.
Yep.
So...
And that was the other thing with this one that you'll like that I can't forget to mention. Joe Dante, the great director Joe Dante, is responsible for this show happening. He's also responsible for choosing the star. They wanted to go another route with another actor and was afraid that he couldn't carry the whole show. And Joe Dante gave this young actor his blessing and said, he's the one that can do this and carry this character. And he did. And then led into more work with, Hocus Pocus and everything like that.
Hell yeah. And we're going to stay on this little tangent here at the moment. Oh, Sleepy Hollow, the TV series, Cody. Yes. And it was short-lived, and I fucking hate TV for that because I actually dug it.
I dug it too, and
I liked the dichotomy. I need to go back and watch as much as there is.
And Cody, respect, because that one slipped past me.
Yes,
totally slipped past. I've seen it and I watched it, thoroughly enjoyed it, and totally forgot about it when we were making our lists.
And that's because it was one of those shows that was short-lived. It's like if it didn't catch fire. If it didn't catch fire, they eliminated it. It's like, okay, nope, move on to the next thing. It was like, internet fast kind of speed shit. If they don't like it right away, fuck it, move on to another.
When the show back in the day could get a longer chance usually to try to find an audience, at least a little bit. But there's a lot of good shows back then that got axed too for the wrong reasons and didn't realize how much the fans actually cared about the show. And But you deal with studios, that crap, they don't know.
You know,
They don't know what they're doing.
That's why I wished during that time when that show came out that there was the apps, because I think if like Netflix or Hulu or somebody would have picked it up, they could have continued it, and then it would have been, it would become a cult sensation.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah. But much like this other one that has not only given us a TV series that I thought was just brilliance for both kids and adults, their parents, to sit around and watch the stories together. It had everything for everyone. And then it gave us a really good couple of films too. Jack Black, thank you. And then now it's back in a whole new light with one of the fucking guys from Friends. Now you know what I'm talking about. Is fucking Goosebumps.
No, I agree.
Goosebumps by far. I mean, I have to always give it up to R.L. Stein.
Oh, yeah.
That motherfucker was so smart that his passion for nightmarish things and making it, you know, very much for kids, for teens, to give them, you know what I'm saying, something that
it's like Stand By Me and Creep Show mixed together.
Right. Because, you know, obviously kids are always wanting to watch the more hardcore stuff. They want to see Halloween. They want to see, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So this gave kids, because, you know, obviously their parents are like, you're not old enough for this. But it gave them something to watch, to read. It gave us fucking Slappy the Dummy.
Yeah. Oh, it also gave us The Mask, the mask that you couldn't take off, and you became a monster if you kept it on too long. The Living Man. I love that. Yeah, it was great.
Night of the Living Dummy. That was probably my favorite book.
And that was the thing too. Was like
it gave you sci-fi too.
Well, no, exactly. That was saying it was a show that could do that, you know, and that's at Erie, Indiana did the same kind of aspect to it. Could delve into more than one theme. They weren't stuck in one theme.
They weren't afraid. Yes,
exactly. Every episode is different than the last because it's a different story altogether, you know. And I'd always, definitely was that gap, would bridge that gap between. Yeah, great one. That's a good choice. Really good one.
Yeah. What is next on the chopping block?
Okay, for this one, I think I can follow that one up perfectly. And yet again, I'm going to stay in the 90s, but this one went for a decade.
Ooh.
Literally, we got from 1990 to 2000, we have Are You Afraid of the Dark? And it's coming back. They've already brought it back. It's already made a...
Yes.
Where they brought it back, which is the whole thing too, because if Goosebumps, like you were saying, and the other shows like that, I don't think it would have got a resurgence.
Right.
And you know, horror, what I will always love about horror, and my brother Reaper knows this, we don't die. We always keep coming back.
Oh, you can't keep a good devil down for too long.
You think horror's gone, or it's like, oh, where's all the good horror movies? Dig. They're there. You know, look for the corpses, look for the undead fellows like myself, and you'll find the hits. Or you come to the graveyard, you come to the underground, and you find picks like this and shows like that where we can sit down ourselves. Do you want to hear a story? And that's what they did for that show for kids. Let's gather around the campfire.
You took it right out of my unholy mouth.
And
the fact that they took the art of the campfire stories, the ghost stories and what have you, and turned it into a show and a book series as well.
Exactly. And it was like, it was another one of those shows to bridge horror with kids. And it's like, but the kids are the storytellers.
Yeah.
As well. It's like the same as Goosebumps. Those were the only shows. Well, and Erie, Indiana, we actually did quite well on that. We did a trio where it's from the kids' perspectives, not the adults.
That almost makes it more chilling too.
But it is. I agree with
I'm
that.
pretty sure everybody remembers a movie called The Sixth Sense, and
Mhm.
the kid that is in that film telling his story.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
it really made the creep factor happen. It wasn't Bruce Willis
Oh, no, not at
at
all.
all. It wasn't anyone else that was involved in that film except for that little boy. And kids honestly can bring it like no one else.
Well,
It's
no,
just creepier.
exactly. Well, Poltergeist,
Yeah.
really, if you didn't
Uh-huh.
have Carol
Carol
Ann,
Ann.
they're here. Or touching the screen and static. Don't tell me if you have a child and you woke up in the middle of the night and the whole room's dark and the TV's staticked and your kids got their hand on the television set saying they're here. Don't tell me you're not freaking out. You're
And
gonna
every
freak
time
out.
you heard that, you knew something was coming and it was
Exactly.
going to fuck you up.
Yeah, but it's like with the show, like for Are You Afraid of the Dark and the other ones we've mentioned, they knew how to ride that line to
Yes.
where your parent could sit down with you and enjoy it. Because it's like, as Cody had said, that the Legend of Sleepy Hollow is parents have told that to kids for centuries, and it's like it's a story that's gone on for years and years, but it's dark. It's got its horror elements, but it's still the family comes together for all
Yeah.
these. It's family programming that's horror. Hey, there you go. You know what I mean? I had to mention that one.
You
And
did.
a
It's such a
decade,
good one too.
you're pulling off.
Underrated
Yeah,
also.
exactly. Well,
I have
that's
to
why
say
it
that
came
too.
back. It didn't
Yeah.
get the time it should have, really.
Fuck yeah. Um, I'm gonna pick a newer one. Because I feel like, well, shit, do I want to go? Yeah, I do want to go there. So, obviously we are all fans of comedy horror. I mean, Evil
Mhm.
Dead, Ash versus the Evil Dead was fucking hilarious.
Beautiful.
But over on IFC, there arose a show that blends the occult, taking you back to olden times. It has voodoo in it. It has all types of occult stuff, and it's all centered around a former sheriff whose wife was a witch, and she was the one bridging, like protecting the town from all the evil that was coming through. And of course, she dies, and then he quits because she died doing her job. And he is just absolutely hilarious. I am talking about, if you haven't seen this, if my computer will actually work with me, Stand Against Evil.
Man.
This actor,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I need to find his name too. I'm going to look that up here in a second, but he is so fucking funny.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
that he is the comic relief, and his daughter is also comic relief in this thing. And then the the new sheriff, which is the young lady to the right there, is the one who took over for him. And they're constantly trying to go through his wife's book on how to get rid of these things because they keep getting plagued
Yeah.
from episode to episode. And it was only 3 seasons long. And I was like, you guys are fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, it was a great show. It could have been going for years, honestly, truly, if they really wanted it to. It had good legs. They were horrific legs, but they were great. But like you said too, though, I agree with you on that. Building the comedy and blending the comedy and the horror together. Ash versus the Evil Dead. That was a perfect kind of comparison of being able to make it really funny and really great monsters and
Yeah.
crazy stuff. Yeah, that was a good
Let
one.
me bring that up real fast. Damn it. My fingers move faster than my phone does. Gotta love that. Let's see here. Got it. It was John C. McGinley. That's his name. How could I forget that? If you guys haven't seen this show, I'm pretty sure you can find it on Hulu. Hulu has had it for a long time, but it's so fucking good. Oh, that's another good one there, Cody. I have to agree. Castlevania series is really, really good and very dark, and it's on the animated side of things.
Oh yeah, I agree though. It was great. Yeah, they did it
but
amazing.
Then again, even some of one of my favorite Batman animated films was Dracula versus Batman.
Yeah.
And that shit was bloody as fuck, dark as fuck too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one though. That's a real good one.
Mm-hmm. What you got next for the peoples?
Well, I'm going to go back a little back in the vein of like I did with Unsolved Mysteries, because I think this one needs its own personal shout out.
Sure.
And that would be a TV series called Sightings.
Now, this is another one that I think escaped me.
Oh, man. This one is more, think if you had Unsolved Mysteries with not really as much the crime, but far more of paranormal experiences and ghosts and cryptids and creatures. And this guy, very seriously, dead serious, would report on them. And they would send film crews there at like, oh, this person claims my house is haunted. And it's funny, one of them was called, it's a very famous spirit or ghost story now called the Sally House. And this guy that owned the house, they're sitting there on camera, live on camera, filming this guy because the guy said the ghost would scratch him.
Ooh.
Now, this guy is on camera, didn't move. They were waiting to see, okay, let's have him try to fool us and we're going to expose him. A big old slash goes right across this guy's face, right in front of him on camera, with nothing touching him. Nobody near him.
When did this show come out?
It was, Sightings was 1991 to 97.
So guess what? They couldn't have faked that.
They didn't fake it. Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
There wasn't great CG that could have done that shit.
Oh, yeah. They
looked believable.
Okay, like the film The Entity.
Yeah.
That was a real thing that was like literally by paranormal experts that were literally like had college degrees. I'm not talking about like ghost adventurers. I mean parapsychologists that have been doing this for years. That's where the Entity case came from. Was that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the same thing with Sightings would give you real stuff like the Villisca Axe Murder House.
Oh shit.
Yeah, ones like that, the Lizzie Borden out, like that's where you found out about these places was Sightings back in the 90s.
Now that is a show, honestly, I could have sunk my teeth into.
You would have loved it. Absolutely loved it. Cody would have loved it.
I love it when they try to debunk.
They would do that.
The person is saying, like that way you could see who the charlatan was and who wasn't.
No, exactly. And that was a thing with them too, is they would go to your house and stuff with an entire film crew and stay there and literally put cameras everywhere. Back in the 90s.
Ooh, in the 90s, people.
So it's not GoPros and tiny little cameras. It's like, no, you can't hide nothing because it's a film set now.
Sure. And it's very revolutionary.
Yeah, they took it seriously, but they took it like they cared. And I believe Sightings has one of the episodes that I could share, a little tiny piece that would get people's attention. They brought in somebody with sound equipment, really, really like special sound equipment to mic the empty house. This is an abandoned house that the people that had lived there said you would hear things all day long. It's like the house is alive, is what they would say.
Yeah.
And the only sound that they got was a heart beating. And it was nobody there. That's like they had things on too, so they couldn't contaminate the sound reading.
Like a telltale heart.
Pretty much. That's the first thing I thought of. And I was like, man, Vincent Price would have got a kick out of that place.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's have a brunch. Oh, that'd have been amazing. But yeah, exactly. But like also a lot more alien stuff too was on sightings quite a bit.
Now,
Like
see the commercials, like that's
yeah,
what I remember. They were
yeah,
really kind of pushing the sci-fi angle, and at the time, everybody out there in Black Flame Land, you have to remember X-Files was
yes.
the show
Oh
at the
yes.
time. So I was really watching the X-Files because I thought that shit was fucking amazeballs.
Well, no, exactly. And you mentioning
So
X-Files is perfect because that's where I believe sightings got its boom that shot it forward was off the back of X-Files quite a bit. Oh yes.
can't agree more.
Very much. Yeah, very, very
Hell
much.
yeah.
Yes.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Thank
So I'm going to fast forward a little bit into the mid 2000s.
Perfect.
We've been talking about the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't talk about the 90s without mentioning Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs was one of the spookiest, highly decorated films of all time. Especially the true crime, aspect to it.
Very much so. Yeah.
Well,
Criminal profiling and the FBI. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it was revolutionary as far as that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
for the times.
Mhm.
And it gave us a character so dark, so classy, and
Yeah. Yeah.
artistic, that almost makes you forget that the motherfucker is a cannibal
Yep.
in Hannibal Lecter. And
At least he has taste.
yes, 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 yes. He liked to eat people that were basically shitheads.
Yep.
So he was kind of an anti-hero in a way.
And a recycler, technically. I mean, don't let it go to waste. So
Right.
he's a part of the
So,
Fight Club.
yep. And, there was somebody who has become very brave to take it back after the Red Dragon had
Yep.
come out, and got Mads Madison, I think his name is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way you say it.
I love him.
It's
I mess his name up all the time. He's an
oh,
amazing actor.
he's
Yeah.
just a incredible fucking actor.
Oh yeah.
Um, but is brave enough to bring a new look, taking it
Right.
back to when Hannibal and God damn it, I keep forgetting his fucking name. The character.
Crawford?
No, not that's the FBI director. No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the profiler,
Yeah, yeah.
the psych guy.
Yes. I know. Damn it. And I know who you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Well, was it Will?
Will that?
Well,
Yep.
yes. Aha.
There we go.
See, I had to knock that maggot out of the way, but I found it.
Yeah, right. So yeah, Will and Hannibal working together because Will doesn't know that Hannibal is pretty much the guy who's been trying to find the entire
Right, exactly.
and brings us a show called Hannibal. And when I tell you it was the darkest, the most bloody, the most psychologically disturbing show, that still to this day has a cult.
Oh yeah. Dexter is the only show that came close to it.
The only one. The only one.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's in the same territory to that end. So that's why, it can get crazy when you got somebody that's crazy, but interesting. That's the other thing too. They make the character, he draws you in. It's like you said, he's a gentleman. He's cultured. He knows how to cook. He knows fine music and wine and everything like that. And then the next thing you know, he's eating your leg.
Exactly. But they really focus here on the fact that he's creating works of art.
Yes, very
Um,
much so. Yeah, I
and
agree. And it was,
it makes it to me that much more creepy. And then
no, it
when
does. Yeah.
the fact
Yeah.
that he's able to put this on, um what do I want to call it? He lays out the whole trip and makes it look like Will did all this
Right.
and gets
Yeah.
him imprisoned.
Yeah. Well,
Didn't
that's because
see
he's
that one
good.
coming.
Well, he's Hannibal. I mean, that was the thing, is his intelligence as well was also the draw, I think, to so many fans. Because it's like, oh, don't go to dinner to Hannibal Lecter's house. Why? Because you'll be the main course. But it's like his
Right.
mind. I'm more afraid of his mind and what he could come up with and his knowledge of medicine and the body to do to me than just eat me. And I'm
Right.
dusty anyway. He'd have to soak me for a while. I've been in the
But the
ground for
crazy
a
part,
while.
though, is that it really makes you think,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
because there's so much behind it just from the
Mhm.
first, and it turns out that most of these guys knew Hannibal. But when you see Hannibal do his evil deeds and try to put it on somebody else to take the rap, that was like his MO.
Right. Yeah.
Um, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. And
ends
then
up
he's gonna walk away and create a new life from scratch
right.
somewhere else. Yep. The term
He
serial
was
killer.
just malicious when you saw Hannibal actually do stuff.
Right. When
Um,
he came out, he was, yeah, he was just,
yeah,
yeah.
he took Anthony Hopkins' brilliance and just made it more brilliant.
Yeah. Exactly.
If
No, I
you
agree with
ask
that. I
me.
agree. If you watch Hannibal, if you would watch the series of Hannibal and then watch the Silence of the Lambs films, where he's older at that point, I
Yes,
agree with you completely. His work in that show adds to how brilliant and maniacal and dark he really can be when he
yes,
wants to be, and it's like, but yeah, I think it added a lot of depth to the films. And that's hard to do with the show. So
yeah,
with them being brave, everybody being brave, willing to tread that ground of sacred, horror movie ground, I agree. Yeah. And they did it beautifully. Yeah.
beautifully.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Just amazing. So, we got time for, let's see. I think you got,
One
do you have
more.
one left?
I got one more.
Yep, you got one left.
Yes.
Hit
And
us.
and I'm gonna have to give her in the 2000s, which is perfect for me. We're gonna go 2014 to 2018
Hmm.
for a show that I think is underrated completely.
Hmm.
And for the actors in it and concept alone and creature concepts. And I'm talking about Z Nation.
Dun, dun, dun. In my opinion, people are gonna shit on me for this, and I
They're
know
about to. I know what you're about to say, but I
far
agree with you. I'll
fucking
take it too.
better to me than The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead for the first 3 seasons, I absolutely enjoyed.
Yep.
Um, but once Z Nation came, and then they started doing all that huge character building
Oh yeah.
over on The Walking Dead, and I was getting bored. Z Nation comes along and brings us something so new, and the twisted what is it? The Twisted Films people,
Mhm.
pictures, Twisted Pictures is the ones that got behind Z Nation, and their zombies were top fucking notch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There was no they didn't waste no money on the zombies. You watching that show, you're gonna get zombies, but for me, also for special effects makeup,
Yeah.
you get different types of zombies that were affected in different ways.
Yep.
So you have some zombies that are slow, have no idea what's going on. You have runs that can run you down if you're in a car.
Mm-hmm.
You have zombies growing out of the bush next to you. Okay. I mean, it's like you get so many different types of how the infection has happened in this show in
Yes.
so many different ways. And the closest I have ever seen something do like that is Resident Evil,
Yes.
where they take the virus and the virus mutates in all these different ways. Z Nation is doing a show that goes, oh, you know what? Let's show literally and travel around America and show you what the hell happened at all these places.
Yeah.
And the people usually are more of a threat than the zombies, but the zombies are a pretty big threat. You know, yeah.
Absolutely.
But you had amazing acting. Hashtag Doc is amazing. And trust us, watch the show. You'll love Doc too. There's a lot of characters you're gonna like, and that's the other thing that this show had. And it in spades, it just over and over again. You have multiple people and multiple characters that you'll enjoy that have growth to them. Get to see the levels of friendship change and stuff like that, but you usually don't get in a show, especially a zombie show. They'll get killed and gone.
Right.
This show was better about stretching people's mortality out, but they're still in danger all the time. You know, it's like, it's not like you're thinking, oh, they're armored up or in some bunker that you can't get into. They've got to go and move, you know.
And they have Citizen Z,
Exactly. Go ahead.
trying to, guide them to, where they need to go and how they can help. It's pretty awesome.
Possible.
Possibly.
Yes. But it's the same thing as The Walking Dead had done and things like that. It was good to see zombies really in a Romero kind of way. If Romero really got to just go crazy with the blood and the gore and the ideas, and everybody went like, yes, George, we'll do it.
Yes.
That's what Z Nation is to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're a Zed head, that is one of the shows you should definitely watch.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. Thank you guys so much for joining us for part 2, because we just couldn't not mention some of these other very prolific TV series that it was just so big, that we had to do 2 shows out of it. And I'm glad you guys really enjoyed it. And yeah, we were able to give you some of other ones of our favorites, and definitely glad that you're familiar with a lot of these. And if you haven't seen them in a while, go back and check them out. And if you haven't seen them before, give them a try. You just might find that you're going to be binge watching some shit for the next week.
Because we recommend the good shit.
Oh, absolutely. And not to mention, like we said, some of the ones that you've mentioned as well. It's like, yeah, I remember that. Maybe we should go back and revisit that ourselves as well.
Exactly. Yes. Very much.
Stick around, because in about 10 minutes, Reaper's Underground is back. And this time I'm not doing a film review. I do have a couple of guests with me for the upcoming film, Hell's Gate, with a couple of the people in it, Otis B. Dreads and Lydia Manson. So we're going to have a nice little chat with them. And yeah, we're making your Thursday night something special. And don't forget, tomorrow night, myself and Robert Lasardo are back for some more Divine Madness. Yes, we're going to be talking about all kinds of shit in a kind of an introspective look at a couple of other things. Because we are spiritual people, so we try to help others by broadening your horizons. But of course, more tales of Uncle Charlie. So definitely always keep one foot in the fire and one on the ground. And most importantly, stay heavy.
Thank you for joining us on Ringro's Underground. Stay tuned for more from Black Flame Entertainment.